You are listening to Her Time to Retire, a podcast dedicated to helping women gain the knowledge, confidence, and support they need to achieve financial success and emotional fulfillment when planning for retirement. If you are ready to finally take charge of your financial life, then keep listening. Your hosts are Glenn Price and Jonathan Scott, founders of Keystone Financial Resources in Brentwood, Tennessee. Both men specialize in crafting individualized retirement plans for women and have a passion for helping women discover and achieve their retirement goals. Glenn is a husband and father of 4 who was taught early in life through his relationship with his grandmother how a woman can not only take charge of her own destiny, but also positively influence the lives of her family and friends that surround her. Jonathan, husband and father of 3, attributes his own success to the strong women in his life, including his wife Brooke and his mother Suzanne. Both men together want to help more women live out their dreams in retirement. As always, if you have retirement questions, their phone lines are open at 615-661-9554, or you can visit their website to browse information, view upcoming events, or subscribe to the Her Time to Retire weekly newsletter. Just visit www.keystonefinancialresources.com. Now relax and enjoy the conversation.
Welcome to Her Time to Retire. This is a podcast for women navigating through their financial journey. I'm Jonathan Scott. I'm co-owner of Keystone Financial Resources, and it's my goal to speak with women at the top of their industry and create a place where they can share their ideas and advice with you, our listeners. So before we begin, as a gift to our listeners, I just want to tell you that we rolled out a 2-minute online quiz to help you identify your number one retirement mistake. You can check it out at keystonequiz.com. Again, that's keystonequiz.com. Well, today we're privileged. I've got Elizabeth Allen here. She's the owner of e.Allen Boutique. It's an upscale wardrobe building boutique. Heck, I don't have to tell you about it. You already know. It's one of the best boutiques around, so we're privileged to have her here today. She specializes in styling and assisting clientele in selecting original pieces and trying to fit that around their original style. So Elizabeth is the CEO and owner, and she herself has a deep sense of style and notoriety on the fashion circuit. Her ability to identify wardrobe pieces and sprinkling in just the right amount of trend-setting touches keeps her on point and oh so chic. So Elizabeth's vision and desires for growing e.Allen has been ever evolving. I've gotten the privilege of knowing her as a friend over the years. Our kids have gone to school together. It's been fun to watch that business go and grow and spread out and move, so it's just a lot of fun to watch. Now, she has typically filled the wardrobe with pieces that mix and maximize the investment for her clients. The customers select clothing that helps them create their own unique style. And that's been something that's really led to a successful business for her. So I'm going to let her talk about that for just a minute or two. And I really wanted our listeners to hear, Elizabeth, what made you decide to start the boutique in the first place? So tell me your story.
Yeah, so thank you for having me today. I had my youngest child. I had just had her. She was 2 months old. So I'd already had my stepdaughter, my son, and then the youngest. And I just really felt like there was a hole in the fashion community where we lived.
For sure.
I did, yes. And I really felt that I was missing out on myself, really. I noticed when I would get ready in the morning, I would hold my head higher, my day would run smoother. And at this point, I was a stay-at-home mom with them. And I just really felt led to do something about it. There was a boutique, a small boutique in our community on the square that she approached me, and I had an outstanding gift card there.
Right.
And she just said, "You have an outstanding gift card. I'm done unless I can find somebody who'd like to buy it." And we kind of connected, and my wheels started turning, and I said, this is something I'd really love to do. And before you knew it, there it was, just a few weeks into it, actually. And kind of went from there.
You pushed that to a whole nother level for sure.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I used to notice is in her boutique, it's been special to me. I've used it personally for years, but Elizabeth keeps all the sizes and things of the ladies. So for us gentlemen, makes it really easy. I can walk in there and say, hey, what's Brooke like?
Yeah.
And she's got
client
the sizes
database,
that knows what to do.
Those are
And
important.
then for the ladies, it's really nice because it's custom packaged as well, and there's a lot of branding that goes into the packaging, and it's really nice how that works. But whenever we see the different business owners on this podcast, we run into the same thing over and over. We're all business owners together, and you ladies have unique sets of challenges inside of it. But tell us a little bit about the challenges that you run into in a day-to-day and how you handle those.
Well, I think for sure, day to day overall, I think staffing is always a challenge. I have been so unbelievably fortunate to have the staff that I have, and a lot of my girls have been with me for a long time. But with growth, adding on staff and kind of maneuvering that and training purposes is a big struggle. Branding and just figuring out your niche to your brand is ever changing, and it's evolving. I think that that's been something that we've been really successful in at e.Allen is, where we started, like I said, I purchased something and it turned it in really something completely different over a matter of time. But I was telling somebody just the other day, for instance, a niche market of mine for a while just was trending was, a denim bar. Denim was crazy. It was bread and butter of our store for so long, 8 years ago. But then now it's something totally different. So the challenging also of just finding what your niche is, what's working, and constantly tracking what's working, what your customers want, if they're relating to the brand and to you as a person, to bring them in with that. I think that that's a challenge. And just finding what women need in general, and men. I mean, that's something else that's a struggle for us, sometimes is just even how men need to shop for their wives. And so that's, I think, branding and just staying, true to the brand as well and let it evolve is tricky. There's a lot of work that goes behind that.
A ton. And just the retail, just in observing it over time, Elizabeth has got some challenges in that, she's serving a group anywhere from 20s all the way to 50s. And inside that group,
even 70s,
even in the 70s. And she's got a boutique in a college town, and then in Nashville, she's close to Vanderbilt, Belmont, all those universities, the Cool Springs location as well.
Yeah, so tracking is definitely,
And so it's a ton to keep up with on these different things. But something that I noticed that's really unique, I want you to tell me what, kind of the decisions that went into it was on the retail side. Used to, there was a lot of table spaces and things like that as things are set out. And it's moved more towards shelving, things towards groupings and things along those lines. Tell me a little bit about how those decisions came about.
Well, for one, there's many reasons why I do that. For one, for me, it is color stories. I like the way just the merchandising side of that. It keeps things kind of nice, tucked in, and color story throughout, just so it's visually, aesthetically pleasing on the eye. Also, hanging though, you can really get more in your store inventory overhead wise. You obviously have to have enough inventory to meet your needs as far as your payroll, your rent, your insurance, everything else with that. So that's definitely, it is a space helper with that. And then tables, sometimes they just get messy, really. I mean, merchandising wise, you always have your tables and your key places to kind of build the aesthetic of that. But for sure, I like the hanging better, and it's just a more fluid situation. And I feel like for the flow too with us, because when you come in, two of my stores, the Murfreesboro and Franklin store, I mean, they are your true boutique experience. You're going to come in, there's a lot of, most of the time, one-on-one experience. You may have more, people in here and there, but, you're talking, you're walking, you're kind of going from, piece to piece. And so it's good.
And so as far as, challenges inside the store, tell me about some challenges you faced on the marketing side.
Yeah, marketing is a lot. It is a whole nother ball game. I'm a huge believer in marketing. I know some people choose not to do it and opt out. I really believe in it. I really think you have to spend money to make money, and it can be scary, but I really think you have to. But it's kind of an extra headache, if you will, because you have to track it.
Right.
Advertising's very expensive. I mean, for ads, you look at a magazine, I mean, sometimes you're spending a couple $1,000s on this magazine or this publication to have your brand in front of them. So you
Right.
really have to do your homework of who is your demographic, who's your target audience, is your reader going to read this? Is your reader going to look at this? Or your customer, not
Right.
reader, are they going to look at this? Is this align with you as a brand and who you are?
Now, social media, I noticed that you carry a lot of advertising on social media, and that's really the number one marketing tool that we've got in retail anymore during these times. Tell us a little bit about how you developed that, Facebook, and then there's LinkedIn, and then some other tools that you use. Tell us
Instagram,
Instagram,
yeah.
right?
Instagram, Pinterest. That too has been ever evolving. I mean, when I first started e.Allen, it really, social media had not taken off. So that was something we definitely had to catch up to when it did come out. And it is a very resourceful tool for us. We have a full-time social media coordinator that handles stuff. Her and I meet every week. We meet several times a week, but every week we talk about just some content and content builders that we're going to be having within there. But just the aesthetic of all of it, just making sure that it's very streamlined, that it's very fitting to the brand, that it's on point with the reports that we need to fill. And that as well, but we do.
Helps us guys too.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you.
Well, and a lot of women, I mean, I'm always so surprised to talk because I do love fashion and all that. And it's a lot of women just come in or they'll screenshot or send us a message like, I just want that whole outfit, whatever that is, just put that, and it really helps. Right. It's another way, to shop.
Definitely. For us guys, I get the call occasionally. I saw this blouse on there that she had on LinkedIn, and it looked like this and it looked like that on Instagram, and I'll get on real quick and find it.
Sweet Brooke, I love her. Love her.
But she uses that a lot with me, so that's a good tool.
That's a good screenshot.
Real good. For sure, I get those screenshots. Right. for sure. And so, whenever I'm doing these podcasts and I'm talking with our business ladies and they're sharing, one of the neat things that I find a common thread with is that everybody shares some challenges at home. I know I do as well. There's gives and takes with owning the business. Tell me kind of some challenges that you have to overcome as far as managing your personal life and managing the business life. And you got kids at home and a husband and all these things to juggle.
Yeah. So I've been at this for almost 13 years and I still don't have the secret recipe. Again, I feel like I'll have it and then I don't. But balance is so important just for self-care and for self-awareness of things. Going back to the very beginning, I remember, I had this bright idea that Addie and Baylor Hannah was already in kindergarten. So I had this great idea that they would basically be at the store with me all the time. And because it was me, I was the only full-time person, at that point in time. And that didn't work. And so just shifting and doing that. So I very quickly got myself upside down on my time. I was spread way too thin. I had young children and then I had this business that I was just uber excited about and very passionate about and wanted to make it work and wanted to have the best of both worlds. Right. So that was very, very tough at the beginning. There were times I would be at work and my heart was at home, or I'd be at home and I needed to be focusing on the store. I was very torn. But now I think I'm a lot better about it. I know that, when I'm home, I try to put my phone down, and I'm the world's worst at text messaging and emailing and all that because I really try to be more present wherever I am. Whether if I'm at work, then I focus on work, and when and my kids, of course, can get a hold of me or my husband. But if I'm at home, then I'm at home and I'm doing that. But I mean, that is a huge challenge. I recently took a sabbatical. It had not ever taken.
How long?
So I really didn't put a time on it. I knew that just going through COVID and just being out on all that, it was just so exhausting to me. And I really wanted to step back and kind of see my store as a consumer would, and just kind of see and just, because I was so on top of everything and just had my hands in too many pits really at the store. And I was seeing that I was really not letting people do what I hired them to do, because I was kind of doing it, with them or for them with stuff, and which is, that's not a great way to be anyways. Delegating I had to, but so I did it in December, in very end of December, and I went back. I was off for several months.
What did a sabbatical look like for you?
It was not at all what I thought that it would be. It was really hard, really, really hard. But I was very intentional with what this looked like for me. I really didn't give myself a lot of limits, other than I was not going to go in and be there. If I could get on meetings or Zoom into meetings, because that's something we all became very comfortable with through our time off. I would do that, or if I would think of, certain things, I would keep my hand in a little bit, but it was really good. It was eye-opening. It was just great. It was great for me to step back and just see things for what they were, and know that everything's really great. And it gave me time to think about what I wanted to change.
I think so many of us experienced that through COVID, when it first happened, and having to go remote and all these different things. And, I think our office went through 3 different quarantine shutdowns to where we weren't deemed, essential. And it was so funny because the people in this office couldn't stand being away. So I remember, how awkward it was to start trying to work out of the home.
It's exhausting.
It is exhausting.
It's exhausting.
And Brooke would say, this is so funny. She said, you go into your office with a cup of coffee, and I don't see you till the end of the day. But you're at home. And it was, one meeting after another, and trying to weed through how to do that. And some of the goods, the positives that came out of it was, it pushed our business technologically forward. And so, we made everything to where, everything was digital, everything could work remotely if we had to. We didn't want to miss any steps whatsoever. So, we're continuing to carry that forward now. Of course, everything in the office is open now and working very well. But when somebody needs a remote meeting, boy, are we equipped to do it.
And there were a lot of silver linings in the shutdown with stuff. There really was. But, just even from market and everything, it was really just, and it still is, it's finally not as challenging. But through all that, even the sabbatical, just buying, we buy 9 months ahead. And not knowing when it was going to shift. So, we are, budgeting to have this, and not knowing all your reporting went to crap because, I make buys based on what I did the previous season to those numbers, and then I attach growth to those, whatever I'm thinking. So that was very tough, not knowing at what point,
For sure.
And if you're going to get the inventory or not. So I was just worn out. I was tired. I was exhausted. And so.
Tell me the truth, because I know what it is on my side of the table. How did it help your family during that time, the sabbatical period? How was it in the family?
I think I was just much more present in those moments. I could
agree.
do I love to cook and bake and everything else. And I do try to cook dinner every night, and I do all that. But, it's nice to be able to make muffins, for when they come home from school, and just that kind of thing, and I think it was great, with it. But my kids are so proud of e.Allen. If I said, do you wish I didn't do this? Do you wish I didn't? They're like, no. Like, they're so proud of it, and they want me to, to do that. Yeah. So,
and it was really good for us as well. So I found myself spending more time, of course, having to at home. But after that first few weeks, I was like,
I kind of like it.
I can do this different.
And,
we started, we went out and bought 5 kayaks.
That's awesome.
We started doing a lot of stuff outside.
Outdoors. We lived outside.
Right.
Walking and fishing. And
I turned a whole area behind the barn into like a like a park area.
Yeah, y'all
We've
have
even
that
got a
great space.
little grill for like a park grill,
Yeah.
and so we just started doing a whole lot more. And I actually saw the family flourishing through it, and I
Yeah.
was like, okay, this has led me to understand I need some boundaries because
Yeah.
it's been real obvious that I haven't had them.
Yeah, and even more recently. I mean,
Yeah.
it feels like we're right back at it, you
Yep.
know.
Yep. So that's something that we all go through together. Well, this has been great, but I want to give our ladies out there some meat that they can take away on this podcast. So, what is one piece of advice that you could share with the other ladies that are listening about your success? Something that you feel like has been key to the success of your company.
I think I'm not afraid to try things and, to see if they work and either throw them out or tack on a new idea to them. So just trying things. And even that goes into just business alone. Just do it. Just try it, get your feet in, and just see what it looks like for you. And never stop remembering why you started it. Never stop dreaming. Never stop, the sky's the limit. Like it truly, truly is. And I think just you don't have to conform to this box. It's yours. It's your baby, and you can do with what you want to with it.
I would agree wholeheartedly, and I would also add to that something that I see in Elizabeth's stores is it is so consistent.
Thank you.
So consistently well put together. So they're operating at the top of their game, and they do it consistently over and over again. So, well, this has been great, and I'm so thankful that you got to join us today.
Yes, I was so excited to come. So thank you.
I told Elizabeth that this podcast wouldn't be complete without her. She had to be here.
Oh my goodness, the situation why I wasn't. That was so funny.
Yes. So thanks for grabbing time with me today. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Elizabeth, for joining us today. And again, Elizabeth is the owner of e.Allen Boutique, and you can find her at e.Allen.com or on Instagram at e.Allen Boutique. I am Jonathan Scott, one of the owners of Keystone Financial Resources. Good to be with you today as usual. You can reach us at keystonefinancialresources.com or call us on the phone if you have any questions, 615-661-9554. Thanks for listening today.
You have been listening to Her Time to Retire with Glenn Price and Jonathan Scott. Glenn and Jonathan would love to talk to you and answer any of your retirement questions. All listeners can take advantage of a free 15-minute consultation with Glenn and Jonathan, whether via a phone call, Zoom meeting, or in person. You can schedule your consultation by calling 615-661-9554 or by visiting our website at www.keystonefinancialresources.com. Thanks for listening. The opinions expressed by Keystone Financial Resources and guests on this podcast are their own and do not reflect the opinions of this station. All statements and opinions expressed are based upon information considered reliable, although it should not be relied upon as such. Any statements or opinions are subject to change without notice. Investments involve risk and, unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. Past performance cannot be used as an indicator to determine future results. Strategies mentioned may not be suitable for everyone. Information expressed does not take into account your specific situation or objectives and is not intended as recommendations appropriate for you. Before acting on any information mentioned, please consult with a qualified tax or investment advisor to determine if it is suitable for your specific situation. This program is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information with regard to subject covered. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Capital Management, LLC, or BCM, a registered investment advisor. BCM and Keystone Financial Resources are independent of each other. Insurance products and services are not offered through BCM, but are offered and sold through individually licensed and appointed agents.